We're back. Two topics to discuss today. Let's start with PSA. Hey, you know me, I'm going to find something to complain about. Let's go through 5 things I can complain about this new PSA pricing structure. Let's start with there's still these mythical upcharges that Nat Turner himself hates and wants to get rid of. I think it's easy for you guys out there probably watching this video to determine the value of your card and what's a $500 card, what's a $700 card, what an $800 card is. But it could be very confusing for maybe somebody who just joined the PSA club or maybe who has just gotten back into collecting and they don't know really. This starts to confuse them and maybe turns them off to grading. So it kind of worries me there that one, you still have to join this collector club. 2, you have to know the value of your card to know what service level to submit them at. So again, some confusing things, and you almost have to be an expert at these things to figure it out. Second thing, you still have to use a group submitter like the bankrupt Marks cards.
Oh, look at that, Marks cards with a little sticker.
If you want to submit under 20 cards. So I don't blame collectors if they're a little wary about using somebody, another third party, to submit their cards to PSA. So again, this could turn off some people who maybe don't have as many cards as 20 cards that they could submit to PSA right now. And so again, it kind of turns some people off. Third thing, there's still an old backlog over at PSA. Hey, and I rip on Nat Turner a lot, and this old backlog really wasn't his fault. It's really the old ownership and Joe Orlando, and they never should have let it get this far. And Nat's probably done a pretty good job kind of working through it and doing the best he can. But aren't they kind of creating like a new backlog with this new service where, hey, these cards will get dealt with after the previous backlog. So it's kind of weird how they're doing this, and they're not just totally clearing the old backlog before they kind of take in new cards. But I do like how they are prioritizing Joe Orlando's mess. And that's probably one thing, a good thing that Nat Turner has done over there at PSA. And fourth thing, this is probably the most important thing. PSA really hasn't scratched the back of the old guys, the old vintage guys, in a long time. This new pricing model is 1996 cards and above. Man, these old guys who have filled out their set registries and probably has stacks of vintage commons they want to send in at, maybe $10 to $15 to grade. And Nat Turner hasn't scratched these old guys' backs in a long time. I mean, I remember going to the PSA lunch at one of these nationals, and it was, first of all, I was the youngest guy in the room by about 20 years. And there was just a quest and a thirst to become a PSA Hall of Fame member. I don't know if you guys even knew that out there, that PSA actually has a Hall of Fame. And it's all these old guys who don't have Instagrams, who aren't on YouTube, who spend hundreds, if not millions of dollars. And this was back in the day when a lot of you guys weren't even collecting cards. Spending hundreds, if not millions of dollars on PSA slabs. So it's really, these guys primary collect older cards and haven't got their back scratched in a long time. They're not going to send in their, 1975 commons for $30 each. They've got to wait for a lower service level. And guys, they haven't seen that in a long, long time. Fifth thing, and most of you guys know this already, but pricing for grading is going to come down. I mean, these companies like PSA and SGC have ramped up their business like card demand was going to keep going up and up and up and up, and these things were going to be like investments. And we've seen that taper off with the broader economy and stimulus money running out and gas being, $6, $7 in some places out here in California. So what's going to happen is these card graders, including PSA, which has gone to 50 down to 30, they're going to have to keep lowering prices. That'll be good for kind of everybody out there. And they're going to have to get in that $10 to $15 range to service these kind of old time vintage guys and set collectors. So there you go. 5 things I can complain about PSA. Drop some comments if you got more things to complain about. I would love to hear them and kind of hear your reasoning whether you do or don't like this new $30 service from PSA. Next topic, let's talk about Kong's card, the modern card trimmer that was trimming some contenders cards. And I remember I was getting some emails and be like, hey, do you guys ever talk about card trimmers on your show before? And I'm thinking to myself like, hey, you weren't around in 2019, were you? Yeah, I talk about card trimmers all the time. But this guy Kong's Cards, kind of some of your guys' first kind of experience with kind of an Instagram card trimmer. Well, he's back. And he has a message for everyone. This comes via card porn because I can't access Kong's Cards Instagram account, so I'll read it for you. Also know, just because some drama and callouts, there should be an apostrophe after the first E there, we're still flourishing and will continue to operate. We'll just move in a much different way. Thanks to all the guys who laid out the roadmap on what not to do. Appreciate all of you. Kind of like a little funny. I actually don't really know what any of this means. I'm only posting this because I'm just requesting some information on this guy, Kong's Cards. I'd love to put his face on my website. I'd love to put his face in one of my videos. I'd love to know more information about this guy. So if you have some, certainly do so anonymously through my email. All of your information will be kept private. And I'd love to expose this guy a little further. Because companies like PSA, they don't do anything. They just decertify his cards and move on. This guy's still going to be able to use PSA or use any grader he wants. He's just going to have to use a different name or use a different account. Easy peasy. Only people seemingly calling these guys out, like Kong's Cards, and holding them accountable, are guys like this card porn guy over on Instagram who does a nice job, and other guys on YouTube. Some would say maybe I do it as well. So send me some information on this Kong's Cards guy if you can. I'd love to talk more about him. I'm certainly not intimidated at all about him or where he's going to move or what he's going to do. So if you have any information about him, especially pictures of his face that I can verify that it is indeed him or a group of them, send it over. Make for a great video. Until next time, I'll see you guys later this week.